everybody celebrate because it is over. The San Jose Sharks have won their first game of the season, and bright days are coming for this team. Maybe not to the extent that some people are hoping for, but yes, the Sharks have got the monkey off their back and they have picked up a W and are the last team to finally get a win. Everybody in the league has a win for this season. So before we start talking about the Sharks, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's talk a little bit about San Jose's win. So we probably need to talk about how the season started for San Jose, and it didn't start well. 0-10-1, and they were at the point where they ended up tying the record for the most losses to start off a season in NHL history. A lot of people were talking, could this be one of the worst teams in league history? I said no, but again at the same time where they continue to lose games, especially the way that they were doing, 10-1 loss to Vancouver and a 10-2 loss to Pittsburgh, you thought maybe this could be one of those deals. But the other night they were able to do something they hadn't done all year, and that was after Mike Greer, their GM, ended up pulling them all aside and talking to them, saying he was frustrated with team play. They said, Mike, we got you. We're going to get a W. That's exactly what they did as they beat the Philadelphia Flyers 2-1 despite getting outshot 39-19 in this game. Obviously, they were outshot, and this was one of those deals where the deserved to win-o-meter by moneypuck.com, I believe, gave them a 33-point-something chance to win this game. They ended up, of course, winning it, and we're going to be jumping in and looking at some of these numbers and seeing just, what's going to happen here. The reality is, obviously, this is just one game. We can't look at it too much and say, wow, they're going to go on a stretch where they just win out the rest of the year. That would be crazy. At the same time, there are some things to look at and say, oh, this isn't that bad. For starters, they ended up getting out to the lead early. They ended up getting a Anthony Duclair goal to kick off the game in the first. And then William Eklund, a guy that they have a lot of high hopes for going into the future, ends up getting the second goal to give them a 2-0 lead. I believe that was in the second. While the shots ended up being where they were, I think the biggest thing was the fact that they had basically the same quality of chances, and they actually had more high danger chances, if I'm not mistaken, in this game. So for the Sharks, while they may have got outshot terribly, it's not bad. There's some good things to take away from this. There are some bad things to take away from it too. When you go out there and the other team's on the power play 4 times and the PK has been where it's been at for this season, you really don't want to do that. But all in all, I think there are some things that you can look at and again say this could get things rolling a little bit. And we aren't the total laughingstock in the league because we won't be associated with the worst start in league history, and we can kind of focus on the schedule going ahead. But at the same time too, I did kind of want to highlight what this is for the Sharks and just some other things too. I mean, the fact that they ended up actually outplaying Philly at 5-on-5. Yeah, the Flyers had 2 more chances, but the Sharks had more high danger chances. And while I will say Philly is one of those teams that I expected to be towards the bottom of the league this year, we are at a point where the Sharks getting any good games were able to outplay another team at 5-on-5 is good because they are dead last in the league. Things like shots for percentage, all that stuff at full strength. And again, like we always talk about on this channel, you're going to be playing full strength hockey quite a bit here. Are there a lot of wins coming up with the schedule? I really couldn't tell you. I'm going to assume and say no. They are playing Edmonton, whether that's today or tomorrow, I don't know. But Edmonton has got off to a slow start this season. This is a battle for whoever doesn't want to be in the basement of the Pacific. And as of right now, who would have thought that Edmonton would kind of be in the same category as the Sharks? At the same time, though, I do know that San Jose has some games coming up against teams like Vegas. They've got some games, I believe, coming up against Boston, against New Jersey. So we still probably will see a lot of heartbreak along the way. However, the wins are going to be coming in, and they are definitely going to get past that mark that the early 70s Washington Capitals sit. They are going to get probably at least 15 to 20 wins this year. And like I said, with the Arizona Coyotes a couple years ago, it's pretty hard to be as bad as some of those expansion teams were back in the day because you should have a better roster. Yes, some of these guys will get shipped out, but for right now, especially probably the first 50-ish games of the year, this is going to be a relative idea of what this roster is, and you'd like to see some wins get picked up with some confidence growing. Guys like William Eklund have only got 3 points through 12 games on the year, and you want to be able to see him kind of get to where he could be the next face of the franchise. He played a lot of minutes last year in a small sample size and ended up looking good in that, or having some things that you could say were positive takeaway, and that is why I'm so excited for the Sharks debut, besides the fact that there was memes everywhere and we finally got to talk about it. So that is all for today's video, talking about the Sharks win. I know it's kind of a short one, but It had to be talked about, right? Anyway, please let me know your thoughts on the San Jose team down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night, and you love hockey, all right? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.